Hello, hello. Hello, everyone. Trying to go live on Instagram too, so hopefully that will work. Okay, I think it's working. Hey there, come on in, come on in, come on in. How you there, peeps? Good to see you. This is your girl, Dr. Avis. Come on in. I have some I have some things I want to talk about with you today. So come on in, come on in. Great to see you. Hope you are having a wonderful weekend. I am getting over a bit of a cold. I don't get sick often, and it particularly sucks to get a cold in the summertime, but I am getting over a cold as we speak. And so I've been a bit under the weather, but it's good to see you all. Come on in. So I wanted to come on this evening to talk about a couple of things because I wanted to make sure that we were all very clear on what I am on a particular uh, reel I had out last week that got quite a bit of attention. All right. I seem to remember quite a few of you being a little shocked and appalled. Yeah, a little shocked and appalled at a particular reel that I had out last week around Jasmine Crockett. And so I want to talk about that. And I also, because I think it's important that you understand the full context of that in the sense of really what's at stake. All right. Um, I just want to be able to chat about that a little bit. And also I want to acknowledge that Lindsey Graham has passed. I would say rest in peace, Lindsey Graham, but I'd be lying. It'd be closer to, resting in the pits of hell. He's busting hell right wide open right about now. Okay, that's exactly what's going on with Lindsey Graham. I am really getting annoyed with seeing all of these effusive retrospectives, particularly also from Democrats talking about how wonderful he was when we all know this man was a warmonger. This man was an right-hand man of Beelzebub, who's in the office right now. And so, and he really was a man of no moral courage and center. He was the one who, right after January 6th, said, "Stop the ride. I want to get off." And then he got accosted at the airport on the way home. And all of a sudden, he was right back in the grips of Donald Trump again because he didn't have any moral courage to stay on the right side of things. So I have nothing good to say about Lindsey Graham. As I mentioned, he's busting hell wide open right about now. And and no matter what they're saying now about Mitch with that little fake photo that they put up, it's my belief that he's going to be joining him in the not too distant future. So the two of them will have a really nice time down there down there with Satan. Okay. But I really want to talk about this Jasmine Crockett thing because I think it's important that people understand where I'm coming from with that, not because of me, but because this is very important for all of us. It's a very important lesson that we need to learn about our future and about how we need to think strategically and not emotionally when it comes to the future of our children, of ourselves, our children, and their children. Here is, in case you didn't see it, I will kind of give you a little bit of a review, and then I'm going to jump right into it. Okay, I see there are a few people on here already. Let me know in the chat, what are your thoughts about Jasmine Crockett? Jasmine Crockett is very, very much a star since the moment she's been on Capitol Hill, even before. Around the time that you had the Texas state Democrats leave the state house, previously, that's when she first started to reach the national scene and ultimately became a member of the House of Representatives and became very popular as one of the bolder truth tellers in the Democratic Party. And so I understand why people have a great love for her. I will say that I don't live in Texas, so I can't vote in Texas. If I did live in Texas and had the opportunity to vote, I would have voted for her. But I have found what has happened post that primary to be very disturbing. And I'm going to put it into this broader context. You know, I've been around long enough that I have seen political cycles. I see cycles. We have been here before. And so we know how this story ends. And it's really shocking to me how soon people forget. So when I see, hey there, let me put on my glasses so I can see what you said. So when I see people, let me see here. Hey there. Okay, La Ana. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly, dear. I'm so sorry if I'm not. She's a superstar. She will be a permanent figure in politics. She is motivational and inspiring. Yes, she is. I agree with all of that. Hopefully. I think a lot of what she's doing now is going to, I know that she has her super PAC, so we'll see. We'll see. I'm hoping that she's not sabotaging her own future right now, to be perfectly honest. All right. Hey, LaShawn, I miss you too. How you doing, girl? All right. So here's the bold and unvarnished truth that I need to tell you about why I feel the way I feel about what Jasmine is doing now and what the implications are. And before I say it, I want to say this. There is one thing that you can trust to always get from me. And that is the fact that I'm not going to tell you always really what you want to hear. I'm going to tell you what you need to hear. My charge is not to tell you what you want to hear. My charge is to tell you what you need to hear. Understand that I've been in and around this political game now for well over 20 years. So I know a little something about what I speak. And my first and only priority is to make sure that the well-being of Black people, not one Black person. Hear me when I say this. My priority is to make sure that the future of Black people is protected and is expanded in terms of opportunities rather than pulled backwards. I will say that right now we are facing the biggest assault on our rights as Black people that we have faced in easily 80 years. Easily 80 years. We are undergoing a huge level of retrenchment to our progress. And it has impacted our communities economically, educationally, and politically. And the main culprit in those rollbacks have come from either the executive branch via executive order with Trump and his ridiculousness, or the Supreme Court, or both. Those are our main enemies. This is why I have nothing good to say about Lindsey Graham, because he's an accessory to all of this. Do you understand? He's a warmonger. He gets pleasure in people dying. So I'm not shedding a tear because he's dead. Okay. But specifically as it has to do with Black folk, I have to say that needs to be our priority. There is a reason why when Harriet was leading her people to freedom, she did it with she had a gun with her by her side all of the time. And trust and believe that gun was not always for the people that was chasing them. The gun was also for people that were along the ride, but that were doing things that could put all of them in peril. Do you understand that? And so when I see, so let me just finish that thought. She understood that you cannot sacrifice the many because of one. So I understand how so many of you are completely in love with Jasmine Crockett. I think she's an amazing political talent. But what she is doing right now, I'm going to have to be completely honest and true to you, is dangerous. It's dangerous to you. and to your children and to your children's children. Now, you may not see it, and I can understand why you don't see it. You got stuff to do. Politics is not the center of what you focus your life on. So you kind of just tune in at the elections, perhaps. But let me break this down for you around why right now what she is doing is dangerous. Hey there, YouTube. Oh my goodness. So here's my thoughts. Hey, from Florida, how you doing? How you doing? Now let me see who's there. Oh, Victor is in the house. How you doing? Hey there, Dennis. How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Okay, so let me break down what's going on. As I said, I feel like I am watching the same horror movie. You ever see a part in a horror movie where you kind of feel like you've seen this before and you know how it ends and you want it to end differently, but people still keep doing the same things and you're like, no, don't run down there. That's where the ghost is. Okay. That's how I feel right about now. Because every time Jasmine says things like, I'm not running for Senate. I'm not saying anything about the Senate. I'm only focusing on the down ballot races. I'm focusing on the down ballot races. My strategy is to focus on the down ballot races. You know what that sounds like to me? It sounds like Eddie Glaude, who went around the country back when Hillary Clinton was running against Trump the first time, telling Black people to skip over the presidential option and only vote on the down ballot ticket. It sounds very, very precariously close to that. And when you ratchet it up by the fact that people are very much still angered and emotionally upset about the ridiculousness of the Tallarico supporters during the primary, it's very easy for people to glean from what she's saying without her having to directly say it. It's very easy for people to glean from what she's saying. Well, then I suggest not support Tallarico. And then I'm even hearing, some of the things that she said at Essence about don't just vote for people when they have a D by their name. I agree with that in theory. But here's what I want you guys to understand. The Senate is the body of our government that confirms Supreme Court appointees. Just about a week ago, you had NPR leak out a report that Alito was about to retire, and they made them retract it. Trust and believe that wasn't a mistake. I guarantee you he does want to do that, but he does not want you to know it before the damn midterms. Wake up, people. So what if after the midterms, Trump has 2 more years in office? What if Alito retires? And what if Clarence Thomas retires? Because Clarence Thomas is actually the oldest one on the court now. I would very much expect both of them to retire before Trump gets out of office. That gives Trump the opportunity to put 2 40-year-olds in their seats. And I know that not everybody understands how this works. I saw somebody go down my timeline the other day and he was like, well, you can only be put on the Supreme Court if somebody dies. False. Absolutely not true. If a Supreme Court justice decides to retire, they can be replaced. That's how we got Clarence Thomas in the first damn place. Oh my God, Thurgood Marshall retired. And that led to Thurgood Marshall. And I want to be completely upfront because I just need to be honest with you all tonight. Honest and forthright, because not everybody's going to tell you this. Because people won't admit to it now, but a lot of the people that are in the Congressional Black Caucus today was pushing Clarence Thomas when he was up for nomination. They're not going to tell you that now, but I'm old enough to remember. A lot of those same people that are running around doing CBC, dancing and singing, are the same people that were saying, we want Clarence Thomas. And now, how well did that work out? Y'all, we need to use our critical thinking skills when it comes to our political futures, because these are multi-generational impacts. This Supreme Court alone, based on the appointees that Trump has put in office, has eliminated women's right to abortion, disproportionately impacting Black women in terms of just our ability to live, as we're 3 times more likely to die in pregnancy and childbirth. We've already had women die because they weren't able to get the health care that they needed when they had difficulties with their pregnancies. This is the same Supreme Court that eliminated affirmative action in higher education, which has completely reduced the opportunities of our Black children to go perhaps to the school of their choice. And most recently, this is the same Supreme Court that just came down with Calais that gutted the Voting Rights Act. It is the worst assault to our voting rights in 100 years. And in each and every one of those incidents, they went against precedent. So when I'm saying that Jasmine Crockett isn't worth it, I'm going to stand 10 toes down in that. She is not worth mortgaging your children's future about what could happen on the Supreme Court in the next 40 fucking years. I need you to wake up and not be so entranced by the charisma that you are not thinking strategically about your political futures and how that can impact your life and your children's lives. Just given what I have told you right now, my children and your children have less rights than we did. Are you willing to see what else they can do if they have 40 more years of that, because they're able to replace 2 of those people with even younger people that could be on the Supreme Court for another 30 or 40 years? Is it worth the risk? What I am telling you is that it is not. Our first priority is to take the Senate so at minimum we can block future Supreme Court appointees. And hopefully in 28, when we can get a Democratic president, or have the opportunity to get a Democratic president, if we don't fuck that up, and control of both houses of Congress, then maybe we can do something to reform the Supreme Court. But in the interim, I want y'all to understand that they can do further damage. They are not finished. Don't fall so in love with one person that you are willing to sacrifice your children's futures. Do you hear what I'm saying? This is what I mean when I'm saying you have to think 2, 3, 4, 5 moves ahead. It is so frustrating to me. So I really don't give a damn if you're mad at me. But I do give a damn if you sit here and you don't vote, Texas, because of some loyalty to someone who's going to be fine. She's going to be a millionaire if she's not already. It's my understanding she didn't spend all the rest of her campaign money from her primary campaign. They get to keep that, by the way. She's going to be okay. Are you? Are your children? Are your children's children? I need you to wake the fuck up. This is not a game. This is serious. These people are playing for keeps. Have you not noticed that? So instead of you clutching your pearls about what I'm saying, I need you to start to open your mind and think about, why would I say that? It's because these are dire times. Dire times. These people are playing for keeps. Do you get the level of gravity of what has happened? I really don't think, I think that many people do not, because they're not sort of maybe putting all the pieces together to understand why we're here, for example, as a community with unemployment rates that are at levels that we haven't seen since the fucking pandemic. That didn't come out of the blue, and it doesn't even, I don't believe it's mainly due to AI. It's not mainly due to AI. It's due to the things that have been acted by this particular Supreme Court, and because of what has happened as a result of this specific administration. Don't fall for the Eddie Glaude move, because that's what she's saying without saying it. This is the part that is annoying me, because it's very sleight of hand. She's not directly saying don't vote for Tellerico. She's just saying I'm not going to campaign for him. And then I'm hearing a lot of folks say, well, she shouldn't be made to campaign for him. Listen, let me give you another example. Once again, I've been down this road for quite a few years. Let me take y'all back to the Obama campaign. Y'all remember that? It was a very exciting time. I know that so much time has elapsed. We just think about the fact that he won and he's president. He won 2 terms. I want you to go back to the very first time that he ran and how he got that nomination and secured it against Hillary. Do you know that technically she had more delegates than he did? If you were going straight on delegate counts, she would have been the Democratic nominee instead of Barack Obama that year in 2008. Did you know that? The reason why she wasn't is because there was a rules violation with regards to her campaign, the primary in Florida. The date for the primary in Florida had been moved up, which ultimately was a rules violation in the Democratic Party. And to resolve that issue, they took away half of the delegates that she earned after winning Florida. When they took away half of her delegates, that then gave him the advantage on delegates, ultimately resulting in him getting the nominee to be able to run for president. So I know that sounds very technical because that has to do with the rules of the Democratic Party, but I want you all to understand the backstory of what happened during that election. And can you imagine knowing in your heart that you actually had more delegates than the person who actually gets to run in the general election, that you lost the primary because of a rules violation, but in reality, you actually had more delegates than your opponent, but they're the one that's going to get the chance to run in the general? Well, guess what? That's what Hillary had. And you know what she did? She campaigned for, damn it, Barack Obama. I'm old enough to remember that. I'm old enough to remember the fact that she went out there and campaigned for Barack Obama, even though technically she had more delegates than he had, and ultimately lost because some of her delegates were taken away from her because of the rules violation, which I'm in agreement with that. Rules are rules. So I don't have a problem with the delegates being taken away from her, but I want you to understand that's what happened. And she still went out there and campaigned for him, and he won. Now, one could argue he would have won anyway. The point is, we'll never know. Because I kind of remember at the time, there were a lot of white women that were very pissed off. There was a lot of white women that wanted the first woman president. And she went out there. She went out there and pulled them into the coalition because she understood what the fuck was at stake. I want y'all to understand that when I'm looking at how Jasmine is handling this situation, it's very honestly, I'm heartbroken. It's very disappointing to me. I don't know her personally. I don't claim to know her personally. I do know people that have worked closely with her in terms of her campaign. That's how I know some of the things I shared about how her campaign was run. But this is what I will say. What is the ultimate outcome of that line of thinking? If the line of thinking is what she is projecting by saying, I am not going to go out there and campaign for him, she is in essence, endorsing the thoughts of people that you and I both know are in the minds of a large group of the Black population in Texas, that they are not going to support him because they're mad about how his supporters did her in the camp in the primary season. You know that. You have to be honest and recognize that. And if she's not willing to address that directly, she's allowing that to fester. This shit is going to be hard enough as it is, especially now with the shit that just happened in Maine. I'm thinking, once again, my priority is the advancement of Black people as a collective, not the advancement of one Black person. I don't care who he or she is. I don't care what office they're running for. No one Black person is more important than the collective. The damage that this Supreme Court can do to us, we should see it by now. Can you not see that they're trying to take us back all the way to fucking Jim Crow? Can we not see that? Has that not been clear to you? Do you think they're finished? Do you really think they finished? When they wrote the decision around Dobbs, which was the decision that led to the abolishment of Roe v. Wade, at that time you had Clarence Thomas write an affirming decision. And in that, in his statement that affirmed that Supreme Court case, he basically said, we are going after all of the rights. We're going after everything except one. And you know the one right, the one civil right advancement that he didn't want to go after? The Loving case. He didn't want to go after interracial marriage. How ironic, because he's married to a white woman. But everything else he wanted to go after. They are not finished. Wake the fuck up. I find it just astoundingly irresponsible that we have fallen in love with one person to such a degree that we are willing to sabotage our children's futures for it. Are you crazy? Just wake up. Another point I want to make on this issue that I think is very critical. People very rightfully are saying that he needs to earn our vote. But I believe that you go about that the wrong way. You're thinking about it from the wrong way. I think when people say that, they are saying that from the standpoint of they want him to come to you somehow, you personally. I don't know what that's supposed to look like. Maybe you want him to come to Black churches, which you're going to sit there and say, and I would agree, that seems very, I don't know. I don't know. For me, I'm not a big fan of politicians coming up in Black churches. It just rubs me the wrong way. It does not seem very authentic. It doesn't seem very real. It does seem like pandering, honestly, to me. But I don't know. What do you even mean? Please, if y'all know what you mean by that, let me know in the comments. I would like to see what it would look like to you for him to earn your vote. I have a better way for that to happen. I want you to understand that you have power in this situation. In fact, Black people have a lot of power in Texas right now if you wielded it. And you don't wield your power by saying you need to earn my vote and then not say anything about how the person can do it. That is not how you wield power. You wield power by going to the campaign and saying, these are my policy priorities. I want A, B, C, X, Y, Z, 1, 2, 3 when you are senator. Will you commit to policies A, B, C, 1, 2, 3, X, Y, Z for my community? Will you commit to that? Sorry. That's how you do it. And if you get that agreement that he commits to then working towards implementing your policy priorities, then you will support his campaign. That's how you go about it. putting stuff out there like, does he even know that Black women are this? These are circular arguments that gets us nowhere. And it's very passive. It's a passive form of politics. I don't know if you've not noticed this about me, but ain't shit passive about me. If you want something, you go get it. This is how power works. Do you think other communities get their power in that way? Like, oh God, I sure hope he comes to me and just tells me something that I want to hear. No. They say, hey, we want this, 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 and this. Will you commit to doing this, 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 and this? And if they have money, okay, well then, hey, we'll donate to your campaign. Or if they have voting power, well, hey, we'll make sure that we get out and vote for you. And if they have both, well, then it's both. That's how politics works. We need to grow up. We need to gain political maturity. We are not operating at the level of maturity and sophistication that we need to operate in this moment when our damn futures are being eviscerated with these demons in office right now and on that damn Supreme Court. Please hear me when I say what I am concerned about is that too many of us have fallen in love. And Jasmine's just an example. It could be anyone. But we fall in love with a particular person or there's someone that there is an opportunity there that we are not pursuing because we don't know exactly how best to pursue it in terms of really being able to hold people's feet to the fire with regards to our policy demands. We are a very sophisticated people when it comes to movement building. We understand about organizing and having protests and boycotting, and all of that is important. But I want, and it's critical, and we do it better than anybody else in the world. People from all over the world have studied our movements. But what I want you to understand is now we're at a stage in our development in this country where we need to start to think about how do we operate with sophistication and effectiveness in politics so that we are able to get what we want more effectively. And I want you to know that is how it's done. It's done through these closed doors, conversations, and commitments that then lead to something on the other side. I will also say we need to think more in the lane of actual policies, like policy shifts that we really want versus we want some specific figurehead to have some specific position. Once again, when we think in that way, we are thinking about one person over the collective. Are y'all getting me? Let me just take a minute to read some of these comments because I want to know if y'all are understanding and if y'all are getting, are y'all vibing with, or if you have any questions about what I'm saying here. Oh my goodness. Rhonda says it takes a level of maturity to be willing. Let me just go ahead and put this. It takes a level of maturity to be willing to see the bigger picture and to do the right thing for the whole versus a subset. Bam, Rhonda. That's exactly what I'm trying to say. I think that's a good point. I thank you, Rhonda. Someone has said about Reese, I think that's a good point. Reese's a good friend of mine. I'm going to invite her onto my podcast and see if we can just kind of talk about this because I know that Reese is a supporter of Jasmine, but I think she also would agree with what I would say here. I haven't spoken to her about this specifically, but I will have to say, it just annoys me, you guys. It really, really annoys me that people are not looking big picture. They're not thinking big picture about this, that people are still all in their feelings. This is the big leagues. Do you not see what's happened? Do you not see what's happened? Every day I get so frustrated as I'm seeing more and more evidence of the impacts of what's going on. I'm seeing how they're ripping away any sort of infrastructure that you that would be available for you to be able to even claim employment discrimination when you face it at work. They completely undermine the EEOC. They've completely just ripped away and replaced the Department of Justice's Civil Rights Division, as you maybe have seen recently, with a room full of all white men, and they only are interested in pursuing cases that deal with white men. If you are someone who, if you know, in terms of what we faced historically, even if you think about this Nolan situation, it's still unraveling, so I don't want to get into it too deeply. I know that there is a picture that's out there. I don't know how much confirmation there is about the date of that picture, but if this continues to go down the lane in which it looks like it's going down, where, you know, you might want to appeal to in normal circumstances, you might want to appeal to the Department of Justice to get involved. This Department of Justice ain't gonna do shit for Black folks. Let's just be real. Neither will this FBI, neither will this EEOC, neither will this Supreme Court. And it's not even just they won't do anything for us. They're going to do everything they can to undermine us. Not just those of us who are here today, but those of us who will be here for the next several generations. This is part of a pattern of what has happened in this country. We are in a period of post-Reconstruction right now. We are in a second post-Reconstruction era. The last time we were in a period like this, where all of our rights were being stripped away, one after the other, it took us 100 years to get those shits back and move forward. 100 years. Do you even think if anybody's going to know anybody's name 100 years from now that we're sitting here crying about, especially because a lot of the people that have gotten people so exercised about this, who the fuck are they? They're like, they're people on TikTok. Who the fuck cares what they said a couple of months ago? I don't give a fuck. Why are we completely, potentially undermining the futures of our children, our grandchildren, and those who come after them because of something that some fool said on TikTok a few months ago? Does that even make sense? Come on, people. Wake the fuck up. Oh my God. I'm like, this whole situation has gotten me. Thank you, Lucretia. Thank you. The Human Rights Commission would be good, I guess, Ronald, but here's the point. They don't give it. I mean, America don't care about Human Rights Commission. They don't care what they would say. They don't care about the UN. They don't care about that. I mean, we could probably get a report to say, oh my God, the US is involved in human rights abuses. Did y'all realize that actually happened early on in the Black Lives Matter protest? Right. Actually, this was like soon after Mike Brown was killed. There was a Human Rights Commission report about the human rights atrocities that were happening on the ground by police officers. There really was. Eventually, under the Obama administration, there were some. Ultimately, the Department of Justice put the I forget the term. If I'm blanking on the term, but it's basically a term where there's basically a takeover of the police department for a period of time. Do you know when this administration came in, they got rid of all of those? I just need us to think like adults. Think like adults who are worried not just about ourselves, but worried about our children and our children's children and those who come after them. Think about those of us that will be here 100 years now dealing with what we did or did not do in this moment. Will they think it is a sufficient excuse to say, we didn't do all that we could do to make sure that we could mitigate the damage of getting two other 40-year-old right-wing conservatives on the Supreme Court because we were upset about something that was said in a primary campaign against Jasmine Crockett. And you know what they will say 100 years from now if that is the excuse? Number one, they'll probably say, who the fuck is Jasmine Crockett? Then number two, they'll say, why the fuck would you do that? I'm just being real, y'all. I like I said, I'm a little under the weather. I normally am very unfiltered. I'm very unfiltered when I'm sick. I'm like, I don't even give a damn. I'm just saying, okay? I'm saying what you need to hear. As I said, I am not someone who's going to come on here at any time and try to win popularity tests. I am someone who will tell you all the time what you need to hear, even if it's not what you want to hear. But know that my priority is to make sure that the well-being of Black people are advanced and not any just one Black person. Our priority is not one person. Our priority are the people, or at least it should be. Do you get what I'm saying? Do you get what I'm saying? You are most welcome, Ronald. Oh, okay. Let me see what you're saying, Kenneth. He says, with all due respect, that's fine. I choose to believe that Jasmine, Reese, and Angela Rice see the big picture regarding the extremely nuanced situation. They and you are very concerned about our futures. I believe that Reese and Angela are concerned. I can, and like I said, I don't know Jasmine. I do know Reese and Angela, and I've known them both for years. I don't know Jasmine personally. I cannot get from anything that I have heard Jasmine say publicly. I've not heard from what she said publicly. I don't come to that same conclusion. I'm going to be perfectly honest. I do not from what she said publicly. So, and I say that because I've not had an opportunity to speak with her privately. I know Reese and Angela from public and private spaces, so I do know their heart. I don't know Jasmine's. So I'm just going to say, from what I've seen, though, that's been said publicly, I don't see how what she is saying and doing right now helps Black people in the long run. I think that it's very good for her celebrity status among Black people. I think that it's very good because it's a feel good, sort of motivating, sort of, Black woman power energy that she puts out. I think that she can definitely, and has historically, when she's in, has been very, very, like I said, I would have voted for her if I lived in Texas, because I believe that you need a fighter in that office. And I know that this election is going to be very tough, regardless of who was going to be the nominee. I think Tallarico is, to me, I don't know that he's tough enough for it, honestly, which is, if I had to choose, I would have voted for her. But since he won the actual primary, my thing is, I'm looking at what's at stake here. And I see, I know what, so for example, this week, ironically, the Senate, once again, this is how important the Senate is about to rule on whether or not, who they're going to see whether or not Trump's boy becomes now the new attorney general. Now that Lindsey Graham has kicked the bucket, it's going to be a lot harder for them to make that happen, because their majority has now slimmed down significantly. So he may not make it. When we're talking about Supreme Court justices, unlike pieces of legislation where you needed, for example, in the Senate, a 60 vote to pass things without the filibuster, there is no filibuster issue when it comes to Supreme Court nominees. It's a raw majority. And you have to keep in mind that in a situation where there is a tie, the vice president can break the tie. When Kamala was in office, she broke more ties in the Senate than any sitting vice president in history. So we need to win, and we need to win the majority by enough so that you can't have, I think we need to win it by enough so that if Fetterman goes the wrong way, we okay. I think we need to win it by enough so that if there is to take JD Vance out of it, to make him irrelevant. And here's my concern. I think it's going to be even harder now, quite frankly, because of that disaster in Maine. And that's a disaster, once again, that didn't need to happen. Once again, listen to Black people. How is it not disqualifying that the man had a Nazi tattoo and had racist posts on Reddit? He shouldn't even gotten this fucking far. But he got this far, excuse me, because to some of these left-wing progressives, race is a non-damn issue to them. Let's just be real. That's my problem with Bernie. I feel like for him, he don't really give a fuck about race, okay? And clearly, this was one of Bernie's boys. Okay? So now that's going to be harder. I thought that the Dems had a good chance of getting rid of, Susan Collins in Maine, because a lot of people are a little concerned about, tired of her, because she keeps saying, oh, she's concerned. And then she turns around and still votes for Trump. She's the reason why we got Kavanaugh. All these people talking about me, with my post about Jasmine, I got arrested protesting Kavanaugh. I ain't see them out there. I'm just saying, y'all, this is serious. And then not too long after he got his ass up in there, guess what happened? There went the right to choose. There went abortion rights. Then not too long after that, guess what happened? There went affirmative action in higher education. Then not too long after that, guess what happened? There went the Voting Rights Act. And right now, and the one thing I will say about the conservatives, they understand the importance of replacing their people with younger people. I guarantee you, if given the chance, Trump is going to replace both Thomas and Alito with 40-year-olds who could be on that bench for another 40 years. This is not a fucking game. It's not a game. We need to grow up. We need to grow up. See, my heart is broken, and I come to you, Reese and Angel, for the fight. Oh God, I can barely see. Sorry. I'm gonna try to make this bigger so I can see. You put back in my soul and heart. Well, good. I'm glad to hear that. Let me put it here. Okay. I understand that you all are talking about politics, but this Nolan case has me in choke. Oh my God. Let me talk about that too. That is so infuriating to me. And right now, voting is the only way we win across the board. I can't even stand white progressives right now because I don't know where they actually stand. So we got to vote. You're exactly right. You're exactly right. Oh, your last name is Alexander. So was my grandmother's maiden name, her last name. Where are you from? Tell me we might be related. Hey, okay. Yeah, let's talk about Nolan. Lord, it's so heartbreaking. I got 2 sons, y'all. And so it's for any Black parent of Black kids. I know we are feeling this right now. I mean, we all know that this something don't smell right, something don't sit right. Their activities have been suspicious from the moment that Nolan went missing. I believe that the stepmom, who's the judge, who's out here making these Facebook posts, Do not forget, she is a lawyer. Obviously, she's a judge, so she's a lawyer. So she knows what to say to frame this moment in a way that advantages her child's version of events. She is not some fucking neutral party. Let's just get that straight. And the way that they have turned this over into some way where now she's the victim. Oh my God, we're getting threats. Oh my God, these people are saying nasty things to us on the internet. Your child is alive. So shut the fuck up. I really do not care. I really do not care. To think that innocent is so sad because 18-year-olds, they know enough to navigate the world, but they don't have enough life experience to really, truly sometimes understand when they're in danger. And it's sad to say that sometimes the people closest to you that you think you can trust are the people that can put you in danger. And specifically, the racial dynamics of this cannot be ignored. We need to realize that our children are not safe in all white spaces, period. Emotionally or physically, if you ask me. Our children they're not safe in all white spaces. And this is something that as Black people, we need to really come to grips with. I love my community. One of the reasons why I love my community is because it's an overwhelmingly Black community. I live in Prince George's County, Maryland. It's sad that for many of us, we feel like if we have some level of financial success, we have to leave Black communities. And then we put our children in spaces, which, I've never been one who believed that. But in so doing, we put our children in spaces that can be dangerous for them emotionally or physically or both. And so it's just such a sad situation that young man thought he was having, according to his father, this last time to have some fun before going back to college, out there trying to have fun with people that he thought were his friends, and something clearly went wrong. Because I don't care how many times you say it, everybody knows you do not go someplace. I just can't imagine as a parent going someplace with like my children and bring my children's friends and then coming back home without my children's friend and only my children. What in the actual fuck? Who does that? And now this suspicious picture has come out with a pool party and people, like I said, I don't know if it's been confirmed. It's just kind of making its way around the internet. So, this is all alleged, but people are saying that this pool party happened on the next, early that next morning. So he survived the actual beach and then went to this pool party. And so they're making logical leaps that he was potentially or allegedly could have been attacked at this pool party, and then the body could have been placed back in the water after, which would have explained why his body was not found that first day. That is at least the version of events that's making its way around the internet right now. We don't know if that's true or not, but here's what I do know. And I'm going to be going through this very deeply in the next episode. Shameless plug here of Fearless Politics. Here's what we do know. This is Mississippi. Mississippi has a long history of lynchings. During the lynching era, Mississippi was the state that had the most lynches. And in the modern era, researchers have found 70 plus instances of what they characterize as modern day lynchings. Some of those were, quote unquote, the traditional type where people were literally found hanging in trees And there was every excuse used in the book except for murder for those to try to cover it up. Some of them were people stories about the most heartbreaking one, and I go through it in my next podcast. Haha. This brother is so sad, was being chased by like 3 carloads of white men. He calls his mother, and as a mother, this breaks my heart because my God, I can't even imagine getting a call like that from my son. She rightfully advises him to go to the police station. He goes to the police station. They don't protect him. In fact, they just send him back out. And then he is missing for a period of time. The next thing you know, they find his head, his dismembered head in the woods in one area, his spinal cord in another area, body parts in various different areas, and they still have not found it to be murder. They're saying his cause of death is undetermined. They are not looking at that criminally. I don't know if you guys remember Ida B. Wells, but she was an amazing writer and journalist during the late 1800s, early 1900s. And the main thing that she did was chronicle the lynchings that was happening throughout this nation. And one of the things that she found was that there was a particular order of events that happened where there was a quick sort of suggestion that that what had happened was not criminal, that there was a quick explanation. That explanation was then used to frame the quote unquote investigation. And then at the end of the day, no one was charged. And so typically those lynches were during that era were found to be officially suicides or undetermined causes of death, but they were never criminal cases that were pursued criminally. And what I'm telling you is that that same pattern is happening today, all the way up to what's happening right now with Nolan. The judge/stepmother put out her version of events. Her version of events have driven the police investigation, quote unquote, that is basically confirming or in alignment with her story. They have not done anything to preserve the integrity of the area to make it, in the way that you would if there was a criminal investigation in order to get, in order to be able to get any clues. They are not pursuing anything criminally. And this is why I'm so glad that the family has decided to take the body, do their own autopsy, to take the phone, do their own forensic analysis of the phone without handing it over to them first. Because I wouldn't trust the police department as far as I can fucking throw them. The whole situation is heartbreaking and angering all at the same time. Yeah. Let's see, Ronald Rex. No one here disagrees with you that nothing has changed. Yeah. This is a mainstream narrative that media has pushed. Our community has never bought into it. Yeah. We are trying to stop the bleeding using politics until we get our shit back together to fight more effectively. I think we could do both, Ronald. I think we need to do both. I don't think I'm saying that it's only about politics, but I think we need politics. Trust and believe the other side is using politics. I don't believe in unilateral disarmament. I don't believe in that shit. So we need politics, but we also need collective economics. We also need to build strong interdependent communities. I mean, like I said, this is why I love living where I live, because I can live where I want to live, in the lifestyle that I want to have, in the community that I want to live in, and I don't have to live around white people to get it. Where along the way did we fall into the trap of believing that success meant moving out someplace where you're the only Black person on the block. What? That's the most backwards, asinine thinking. I don't even understand how we got there. But so in my mind, it what's necessary is all of the above. It's community economics, and I would say this is one good thing. I'll end on a happy note. Okay, this one thing that's going on now with the nail situation, and a lot of Black people, really Black women in particular, going out of their way to find Black service providers because of the boycott that came as a result of the whole backlash against Asian businesses because of what one creator said on TikTok, I guess it was, that pissed people off. I think that it's a shame that that's what it took to get here, but we should have always been looking to think about how can we more comprehensively choose to circulate our money within our own community. It's a shame we had to get mad about something to do that. But now that we're here, I hope that we are going to take that habit and make it a part of what we do in every way possible. Given everything that's happened right now, we're going to need to make sure that we have our own quality schooling opportunities. We're going to have to make sure that we have we're supporting our businesses and growing our businesses and employing each other, okay, through those businesses. And we're going to have representation that cares about the community and cares about the greater good more than personal aggrandizement. We're going to need that. We need all of those things. Because what we don't participate in at some level will definitely be wielded against us. Clearly. Those people who I don't vote people, I hope they realize now what the fuck happens when you don't. Because the sad thing about this last election is, I will say this, most people don't realize this. Did y'all know? I'm just dropping all types of did you knows tonight. That Trump, one thing I will give Trump, he's good at spreading lies so much that people think that they're true. And one of the lies that he has spread about how he got into office this time, if you believe that he won this election legitimately, which I don't necessarily accept. I think that it's a high likelihood that Elon Musk helped him with this. Okay. And I just think that the Democrats didn't have the balls to pursue it. But here's what I will say. Even if we go by the election totals from that night as they stand, the only Democratic candidate in history that has ever gotten more votes than Kamala Harris was, drum roll please, I bet you it's not who you think it is Joe Biden in the previous election. So if everybody who's ever run for president in this nation, the only people that got more votes than Kamala Harris was, if you believe this last election, Donald Trump, and then Joe Biden in the previous election. She actually got more votes than Barack Obama. This was not a blowout. So I say that to say, she has power. We have power. But the sad situation is there were 90 million people who were eligible to vote in the last presidential election, but did not vote. 90 million. 90 million who did not vote. But you know what? They may not have voted, but guess what? If they live in one of the states affected by Calais, their voting power is now diluted. If they are a young woman or a man who is with a woman of reproduction age, her reproductive health has now been your reproductive health has not been compromised. If you're someone who wanted to go to a major research one institution for undergraduate or graduate school, you might have a harder time getting there now. So what I'm saying is politics going to happen to you, whether or not you participate in it. It will happen to you. Your choice is, am I going to seek to shape it? Am I going to seek to create a shield when I need to create a shield and create a spear when I can create a spear? That's your choice. And here's what I'll say using that very same analogy. In the short run, we need a shield. In the short run, for the next 2 years, per se, until the 2028, we see what we're dealing with. If the most we can do right now is harm mitigation, I want you to understand that that is not that is actually very valuable in this moment. That is not useless. We need harm mitigation because they are not finished. They are not finished. And then when we have the power to create real change, we need to make sure that we are voting for people that have the balls to create that type of change. The big thinkers, the people who will move efficiently and swiftly with big ideas and will be bold and unrelenting in their pursuit of what needs to happen next. Like I said, to me, one of the top things I will require of whoever runs for president next time, a couple of things. Number one, they have to erase this motherfucker from the face of history. Everything he's done to change, because I live in this area, DC, he's created, DC looks like a trailer park right about now. It's just, oh my God, it's just disgusting. I want everything that he has changed, put his face on, put his name on, everything that he has destroyed, put up, all of that stuff to be erased. Okay, and put back the way it was. That's one thing. But more importantly, the next person needs to commit to getting through Supreme Court reform. That is my top policy ask. Because unless the Supreme Court is reformed, whatever laws are passed in the future, the Supreme Court can just go and undo. They've already shown us that they are willing to undo precedent going back 100 fucking years. They've got to be broken up. They've got to be reformed. So that can look like either, I would say, age limits, but that's not going to help us if they are able to replace Alito and Clarence Thomas, because they'll just replace them with young people. So they'll need to put on there, they'll probably need to expand the number of people in the court, which is not unprecedented. It's not always been 9 people. So it just needs to be expanded again. You just need another odd number. Okay. Expand the Supreme Court. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yep. All right. So y'all guys have y'all have really gotten me interested. I'm gonna go ahead and I will text Reese. I will say, listen, girl, let's go ahead and do a conversation about this Jasmine thing, because I think it would be interesting. People hear both sides of the story. I think we would both agree on some things. We may disagree on other things. But here's my main point once again. I need you who live in Texas and who's within the sound of my voice. I need you to decide, what is it do you think is most important that your next senator from Texas do for you? What are the policy issues that are most critical for you? I need you to reach out to his campaign, or get a group of you together to reach out to his campaign and get him to commit to it. They will do that. You have power in this situation. This is not about passive power. This is about proactive power. And then if he commits to do that, then you go to work to make sure that we flip this fucking state. If we end up with two 40-year-olds, Alitos and Thomases on the Supreme Court, do you realize how damaging that's going to be? 100 years from now, people will look back at this time and say, what the fuck? Black people were just kind of sleeping. They allowed all this shit to happen. And now we're dealing with it 100 years later. I refuse to do that. I refuse to be that. And that's why I have to say the things that you don't want to hear, because you need to hear it. Okay, with that said, you guys, I'm going to go. I'm going to warm up my tea. Let's see. All right, Rhonda said we're working in Texas and aren't stuck on feelings. I love it, Rhonda. That's my girl. Okay, that is my girl. All right, you guys. I hope y'all have a wonderful evening. I'm gonna try to get some rest. Thank you, dear. I'm gonna get some hydration and some sleep. Yes, ma'am. And some nutritional supplements. Yes, ma'am. I got it. All right. And I will see you guys later. Y'all take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye, everybody.